Welcome back to Factful Finance, your go-to place for hard-hitting financial insights that give you the knowledge you need to make better choices with your money. Now, picture this. You've worked your entire life, you've paid off your mortgage, and now you're ready to enjoy your retirement. But what if I told you there's a financial decision that could jeopardize your home, your savings, and your family's future? All in the name of easy money. Welcome to part 5 of our deep dive into home equity release, a scheme that for many feels more like a legal scam than a smart financial choice. Let's get straight to it. Home equity release can look like a quick, simple solution to fund your retirement, especially when you're worried about dwindling savings. However, the truth is, for a growing number of homeowners, it's anything but simple. In fact, it's a financial trap, legal, but potentially disastrous. By the time you're feeling its effects, it could be too late to reverse. So, why does home equity release feel like a scam? Here's the first shocker. You're not actually borrowing money. Home equity release isn't like a traditional loan. Instead, it's a loan against your home, often with compound interest piling up year after year. But here's the kicker. It's interest that you don't pay back until you die or move into long-term care. Now, the lender is holding all the cards, and you're left with fewer options. Take the case of 72-year-old Margaret from Manchester. Margaret and her late husband had diligently paid off their home over the years. They were comfortable, but with the rising costs of living, Margaret wasn't sure how to make ends meet in retirement. She was approached by a friendly advisor offering an equity release plan that would provide her with £40,000 to cover her expenses. Sounds good, right? Well, let's dig deeper. Here's where it gets concerning. The interest rate she locked in was 66 cents. That doesn't sound terrible at first, but over time the interest compounds, meaning she's paying more and more on a debt she didn't even intend to pay off until her death. Fast forward 10 years, and that £40,000 will balloon to over 70 sounds. And here's the kicker. Margaret isn't even making monthly repayments. The full amount will be taken from her estate when she passes. If property prices don't increase as expected, her children could inherit far less than they anticipated. Now, here's why it feels like a scam. The true cost is hidden in plain sight. The people selling these products will often gloss over the long-term consequences, painting a rosy picture of extra funds for your retirement or peace of mind in your later years. But in reality, the cost can be devastating. Homeowners like Margaret are left with a debt they didn't fully understand when they signed on the dotted line. But don't just take my word for it. Research consistently shows that homeowners, especially retirees, don't fully comprehend the impact of equity release. A study by the Financial Conduct Authority found that 40% of equity release customers didn't understand how much the loan would cost them over time. And let's be real, those high-pressure sales tactics aren't helping anyone. The advisory firms promoting these schemes often fail to give a clear, upfront explanation of the long-term costs involved. In fact, equity release products come with some incredibly high fees. We're talking about setup costs that can easily exceed £1,000, not to mention the early repayment charges if you decide you want to change your mind later. Not to mention, these plans can often affect benefits and impact inheritance plans. Let's not forget about the no negative equity guarantee. It sounds comforting, right? But here's the catch. This guarantee only means you won't owe more than the value of your home. However, if property values don't rise, or worse, they fall, you may still find yourself in a very tight financial spot. And the people selling these plans aren't exactly jumping up to warn you about that possibility. Take Oliver, a 67-year-old retiree from Edinburgh. He opted for a lifetime mortgage, thinking he was protected. But when his property value dropped, the loan balance far exceeded the market value of his home. Oliver wasn't alone. Thousands of homeowners are unknowingly being pushed into a corner, all because they didn't understand the risks they were taking when they signed up. So, why does this all feel like a scam? It's because the average homeowner, especially those in retirement, often don't realize how dangerous these plans can be. The interest rates are high, the fees are loaded, and the long-term costs are often hidden in fine print. But here's the most important takeaway. You're not stuck with this decision. There are alternatives. If you're considering home equity release, consider talking to a certified financial planner, CFP, who can help you weigh the pros and cons. Make sure you understand all the potential consequences before making such a significant financial commitment. Now, here's my challenge to you. If you're considering equity release, make sure you understand the full cost of borrowing, not just the immediate cash you get in hand. Ask questions like, how much will this cost in 10, 20 or 30 years? And what happens if property values drop? These aren't just hypothetical questions. They're essential to protecting your future. It's time to take control of your financial decisions. You deserve better than a quick fix that could cost you everything in the long run. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one in this series. And let me know in the comments, are you or someone you know considering home equity release? What's your biggest concern? I'll be responding to as many as I can. As always, this content is for educational purposes only. Mentioning any apps, products or services is not an endorsement. Always consult a certified financial professional for personalized guidance. Looking for more financial breakthroughs? You'll love the next video, so click the one on screen to keep learning.